Ya Raïssa Moko, gebe journaliste Royal FM, go chang singwag Cameroun beta pays de paix. Poke chang she, au chang pukungwok awe gechatewo.
Je suis Eric Christian Kwam. J'aime mon pays, le Cameroun, et j'en suis fier. Je dis non à la violence, non au tribalisme, non à la manipulation.
Ensemble, main dans la main pour préserver l'unité de notre cher et beau pays, le Cameroun.
C'est un message de Royal FM, la radio des auditeurs.
Yellow, it's 2 p.m.
Ayoba is the all-in-one app that helps you chat, call, read, play, pay, and listen to music. Use Ayoba at no data cost on MTN. Download Ayoba now.
Subscribe to Maso Gold. Maso Gold, conceived for the total fulfillment of all and sundry.
The 2PM Newscast
with
Azone MAPALAH.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. You're welcome to today's Royal Afternoon Edition, the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM with me, MAPALAH ZITA. Coming up in this edition. He who says mutual assistance must say solidarity. The Maso Act 3 caravan this time around was in Koteng, where mutualists in that part of the country celebrated the Africa Ubuntu spirit. Plus, we talk breastfeeding and how best it should be done. Women have different positions to breastfeed their babies.
I breastfeeded him while sitting and leaning with my back. Then when I was tired at times, breastfeeding with my right breast. Then I suppress slowly.
Plus, we'll take you out of the country to Niger, Uganda, and India. And in sports, we will talk football, basketball, and the La Francophonie games. Ladies and gentlemen, those were our top stories. Please stay with us. Once again, you're welcome to the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM. We open this newscast with the mutual assistance and solidarity, the MASO, where showers of blessing have located a good number of mutualists in the town of Nkoteng, a locality in the Upper Sanaga division of the Central region, as the caravan of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity Maso Act 3 drove past the area while leaving many as happy winners of material equipment and finances during the raffle draw ceremony, which took place yesterday, August the 2nd, 2023, after that of Obala, Mfu, Bafusam, and Idea. Eratus Nduwe has the details in this report.
All converge in their handful number at the group run-approved finance SA agency of Nkoteng, full with smile and happiness after Maso Caravan dispatched financial offers and material equipment for mutualists in total transparency and honesty. Motongo Bienvenue is a winner of a sum of 250,000 CFA francs and Mekongo Rachel 500,000 CFA francs.
I am so happy for Run-approved Finance SA agency who had made me a happy winner of the sum of 250,000 francs CFA.
I am very much glad because it is a great surprise for me and it's my second time to take part in this raffle draw. I say thank you to Renaproof and Maso. This money will help me to buy goods for my shop to prepare for school resumption.
Ines Mundi teacher, another happy winner, expressed her joy after winning a gas cooker that will help her cook with more ease for her family. family and friends.
Renapro fait trop de joie dans mon cœur par rapport à les bons services. Vraiment, je n'étais pas trop intéressée.
I was not interested in Maso. I came by severally and the director insisted that I should play, but I was hesitant. But when I went back home and pondered on how Renaprof has been helping me, so it took me by surprise.
Ça m'a pris par surprise.
After so many attempts in other banks, Ananga Jean-Marie attests the difference he witnessed with Renaproof.
I paraded a good number of banks in Cameroon, but I changed when I arrived Renaproof in less than 4 months and I registered in Maso, and you can see the result now. It will help me to realize my project, which will help refund it later on.
The agency was the event was a total success as no major incident was recorded as confirmed by the Director General of the agency.
Je suis Monsieur Moutoni Bertrand. Pour cet événement, je remercie.
For this event, I give glory to God because everything went unhinged-free and the mutualists were well behaved in the ambience and in love. For those who have not yet trusted Maso, we are at the service.
The group Renaproof Finance SA is out to redeem man from the shackle of poverty as the registration for Act 4 is ongoing in all these agencies.
Eratus Nduwe in that report, and hopefully you will get yourself registered so that you'll be one of the lucky winners when we begin the raffle draw for Act 4. Away from the mutual assistance and solidarity, we dive into our World Breastfeeding Week, which has as theme enabling breastfeeding, making a difference for working parents. The week is celebrated to sensitize and support nursing mothers to help them breastfeed their babies properly. Now, what position do women take to breastfeed their babies? And what position is best for babies, and for how long should they be breastfed? Our student journalist, our Siri Darin, questions a specialist on the position of women and breastfeeding and for how long they should breastfeed their babies. We will come back to World Breastfeeding Week in the course of this newscast. We move over to say that more than 100 peer educators will be deployed in the different neighborhoods in Yaoundé to sensitize youths on HIV and AIDS, sexually transmissible infections, and the dangers of drug consumption. This is in line with the AIDS-free holiday campaign launched at the head office of the African Synergy Against HIV and AIDS and Sufferings in Yaoundé. The campaign was launched by the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi, in the presence of the Ministers of Employment and Vocational Training, Issa Chiroma Bakari, and the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family, Professor Marie-Therese Abena Ondoa. Few days after the second Russia-Africa summit, Cameroon has reinforced her friendship with the foreign country in terms of economy and security. Cameroon's business sector, through the Ministry of Commerce, has made public its intention to extend trade with Russia, especially in the domain of cocoa exportation. Now, just what do Cameroonians think about the trade alliance between the two countries? Our student journalist Mbala Miris interviewed some Yaoundé city dwellers and put their views together in this Vox Pop.
It's great. It could help our country because President Putin is known to be a man of radical principles. So it could be of help to our country just because the people he's associating with right now could superimpose their mindset.
So when I see the alliance Cameroon-Russia as for me, I think it's a good thing for us Cameroonians. I think we can achieve something behind Russia. It can help some develop some infrastructures, even talking about armaments, because we think that the strongest in the world. So I think it's a good alliance, Cameroon-Russia.
Russia is one of the countries powerful. So why not having Russia like a support for our defense?
And while Cameroon businessmen plan to extend trade relations with Russia, the move definitely comes with benefits and possible risks. Our student journalist Glory Ngange caught up with an economist who sheds more light in this report.
Given that Cameroon has always had commercial relations with Russia, Dr. Hugh Kochu says the recent summit is a reinforcement which will improve the importation of more wheat and fertilizers.
According to the Institute of National Statistics, before the Russia-Ukraine war, about 65% of Cameroon import of wheat and 17% of Cameroon import of fertilizers come from Russia. Cameroon's main export to Russia is coffee, tea, and spices.
Dr. Hughes Kochu points out one of the risks of this relation, which is imbalance of trade. This is because Cameroon imports more than it exports to Russia.
As regards the risk, unfortunately, we record a deficit in our trade balance with Russia of almost 100 billion francs CFA, according to latest statistics from Russia. Any country with a trade balance deficit of 100 billion francs CFA will want to fix it.
However, the risk could be managed if Cameroon increases the quality and quantity of its exports.
Cameroon should look at strengthening its commercial relationship with Russia. We should not only export coffee, tea, and spices. We should look at how we can export more. For example, woodwork that can be used for building residential properties and commercial property in Russia. So we should definitely look at exporting more of our things that we produce and manufacture in Cameroon to Russia in order to reduce or fix our trade balance deficit with them.
Inasmuch as trade relations with Russia is beneficial, Cameroon needs to take measures to prevent possible drawbacks.
We come back to health on our World Breastfeeding Day to say that women have different positions they take to breastfeed their baby, and the duration is also different. Our student journalist, Awasiri Darin, put the question to some women on how they breastfeed their baby and for how long they do so. Get them speak in the following vox pop.
I breastfeeded him while sitting and leaning with my back because I was still very tired. I was still feeling pain, so I was lying on my back and I started breastfeeding him. Then when I was tired at times, breastfeeding with my right breast. Then I still press slowly till I feel it's okay.
And now the duration will just depend on the baby. When it's like crying, I give. When I look for some hours, like 3 hours, 2 hours, I give. And now the breast will just depend on him. He can suck it for about 30 to 15 minutes, one, and the other one for like 10 to 15 minutes. Now the position was just like, but depending, in the night I could give him while lying down. In the evening, morning, during the day, while sitting.
Our student journalist, Awasiri Darin, also questioned a specialist on the position women should take to breastfeed their babies and just how long babies should be breastfed. Get the reactions in this report.
Breastfeeding is an act of feeding a baby with milk from the breast. Ngwa Enna is a nutritionist. She expatiates on the position of breastfeeding a baby.
There are different types of breastfeeding positions, and different positions work for different mothers. Some mothers would prefer the most common position, which is called the cradle position, where the baby is held by the mother's arm. So the palm of the mother's arm is actually holding the child's buttock, while the head is positioned on the arm. So the mother's hand is doing most of the support. So it means that she has to be in an upright position, or she can lean on a chair that has arms, that she doesn't strain.
The nutritionist also goes on by saying that it is important for the baby to hold on the mother's breast. Song 2.
The baby does not latch to the breast the right way. The mother also having issues like breaks in her nipple or wounds around the nipple because the baby is not properly latching. So in order to ensure that the baby is properly latching to the breast, the easiest way to know is that the areola, that's the black part around the breast, the baby's mouth should fully cover it. So the baby should not just attach their mouth to the nipple. Imagine applying such pressure just to the nipple. Obviously, there's going to be breakage and wounds around the nipple.
Enna further emphasizes on the duration of breastfeeding babies depending on their ages.
Another thing to note is that the duration of breastfeeding, it also depends on how full the breast is. For mothers who really don't have a lot of milk supply, will take the babies longer to suckle because they are trying to, get as much as they possibly can, given the fact that the breast milk is.
Breastfeeding actually contributes to the growth of the baby, and the mother should do what is being told by the specialist.
And still to come in this newscast, the Douala City Council has begun taking measures to make sure that we do not have a repetition of buildings crumbling and killing innocent citizens. What do Cameroonians think?
Build the maracage very well before building.
Some of those people stay in these quarters where they suffer the consequences of flood.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM and watching us live on Facebook at Royal FM Cameroon. The issuance of building permits, directions of building in urban areas, and the law governing construction in towns and cities of Cameroon have been reviewed. This was during an interministerial meeting in Yaoundé, chaired by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Guti. The session, organized on the instruction of the head of state, was aimed at identifying measures to reduce the risk posed by buildings which constitute a threat to the population. The meeting comes days after a building collapsed in the Douala 5 subdivision and in Gaoundéré, causing the death of numerous Cameroonians. In a related development, the Douala City Council has taken measures to avoid a repetition of building collapsing and killing people. These measures include demolishing buildings in risk zones and asking citizens to leave areas where their lives are at risk. Students intern Ebanda Leon went down the streets of Yaoundé to have the point of view of some Cameroonians about these measures and if the same measures can be applicable in Yaoundé. Get them speak in this Vox Pop.
I think that the government is somehow harsh, but if in doing what they are doing regarding the flood and the rest, if they give money to these people, to the owners of the houses, it could help them. But if they are doing that, if they are driving people without giving them money, without giving them something so as to be able to have something else, then it's not going to be fair at all. It is true that the insecurity is there, but I think what they could have done is that they could maybe impose a way of building. That's they fill the maracage very well before building.
Some of those people stay in these quarters where they suffer the consequences of flood at any moment. The same facts can be applied in Yaoundé. It's true that Yaoundé is a spacious area. You can find it's a place where you can find there's enough space in Yaoundé compared to Douala, because Douala is an economic city with congested and that's so tied up. So I think Yaoundé is an area where they can easily be applied. I think if they have to apply the facts they apply in Douala concerning floods, it can be very easy for them to apply it.
The measures the government has taken to drive people away from dangerous places in Douala is very good because it saves lives. Driving people from this dangerous area can actually very save their lives, and it can also be applicable in Yaoundé because there are also many dangerous places here. So I think it's a very good idea, but the government also have to take some measures to help the people that are driving from those dangerous places.
At least 8 people have been killed in Darak in the far north region of Cameroon following Boko Haram insurgencies. The killing took place yesterday, and it is reported that 7 out of the 8 killed were fishermen. However, to curb this insecurity, authorities in charge have prohibited fishing in the area. Now, what could be the cause of this resurgence? Fringwe Crispin spoke with a geostrategist and put together this report.
According to the geostrategist Alemken Richards, the resurgence of Boko Haram attacks in the far north region could be as a result of a drop in the insecurity in the area.
What has happened is that the government has relaxed security measures, and each time the government relaxes security measures, we are bound to have sporadic attacks from the Boko Haram insurgents. So up far north, it simply means that the think tank force that was put in place by the different nations should return to work.
Reports reveal that most of those killed during this resurgence are fishermen. Looking at this, Alemken Richard attests,
those fishermen might have been leaking some information to the military. That might be the probable reason, because for Boko Haram to just killed without any valuable reason, we cannot explain. But however, it can also be that the Boko Haram have retrained some of their militants and they're coming back very forcefully.
As the lone existing solution to curb these Boko Haram attacks in that part of the country, the experts suggest that state officials should install collaboration with the population.
Freeman Crispin in that report. We talk education in this newscast. The 2023-2024 school year is fast approaching. A few weeks left for the official start of classes in Cameroon. Among students to resume school are those who were unable to succeed in end-of-course examinations during the last school year. Just how are they preparing for the forthcoming academic year? Our students journalist Mendomo Erica interviewed some of these students and compiled their views in this report.
The resumption of classes this year begins on September 4, 2023. Frankie, who did not pass his exam last school year, intends to start out this time.
And have been given to me new objective by revising some past questions and organizing reading group for me to achieve more knowledge and to pass my exam so that my parents should be proud of me and avoid unnecessary things like going out with friends. Instead of that, let me stay at home and concentrate by revising my books, solve some past questions.
Dylan reveals himself that he has not been conscious enough last year and is better prepared to leave this habit behind him.
My objective for the new academic year coming is that I want to concentrate to pass my exam by putting away all my bad habits and become more conscious.
Same for Oliver, who has decided to get away from certain distractions to concentrate better, and for that he is not waiting for September. He has already started his preparation.
I decided to focus a little more this year and get away from distractions. I will learn to stay home and study anytime now, without waiting for school to start again in September. I already started revising my books and courses from last year. I have to be serious.
Hope that the new academic year will be a smiling one for them.
And at the end of official release of examination results at the end of each academic year, it may happen that some candidates were awarded the wrong results. Following this kind of situation, what procedure candidates or parents are supposed to take for the restitution of their deserved results? Our student intern Mendomo Erica interviewed a GCE examiner on the possibilities to solve this problem. Take a listen to Hale Celestine.
Write a complaint, pass through the center authority where they registered and sat in for the exam, and then deposit the complaint in the GCE office, that is the office treating complaints. The GCE on her own will now be able to convene her council. They will verify to see whether the complaint of the candidate is valid or not. They will do the verification right even from the soft copy of the result in their machines. If they realize that it is true, the result slip that the candidate has presented was issued by them, indicating that the candidate passed, now they will be able to cancel or annul the certificate that was issued, indicating that the candidate has failed, and now issue a different one based on the information that they have gotten from their machines.
Out of Cameroon, Niger's ruling junta and the civil society groups have called on the nation to mobilize in the capital, Niamey, today to fight for the country's freedom and push back against foreign interference. According to Mahaman Sanusi, the interim coordinator of the M62 civil society group that organizes the protest, they are talking about the immediate departure of all foreign forces from Niger. Today's march falls on the West African nation's Independence Day from its former colonial ruler, France. This as anti-French sentiment spikes. Protests are expected throughout Niamey to push back against foreign meddling. At least 20 people have died after a boat capsized in Ugandan waters on Lake Victoria early yesterday. Rescuers and local residents continue today to search for survivors as aid has already been rescued. Police reports say the boat was carrying charcoal, fresh food, and fish when the accident occurred, adding that the cause of the accident is attributed to overloading and bad waters. 3 days after violent clashes between Hindus and Muslims killed 6 people, parts of the northern Indian state of Haryana remains tense. In Nu, where the violence began earlier this week, the streets could still be seen empty today with shards of glasses scattered everywhere. Those killed include 2 home guards who assisted the police in controlling riots and public disturbances. Authorities have imposed a curfew, suspending internet services, and deployed thousands of paramilitary personnel after the clashes also spread to Gurugram and a city just outside India's capital, Delhi. Let's come back to Talk Sports. For our 2 p.m. sports file is Evans Williams and Jobati. Good afternoon, Evans.
Good afternoon, MAPALAH ZITA.
The La Francophonie Games now has Cameroon with 23 medals, with 3 added yesterday in Kinshasa, as you tell us, Evans.
Team Cameroon at the 9th edition of the La Francophonie Games out there in DR Congo have now won 23 medals. The medals came from Marie Baba Matia in judoka, gold medalist, Nora Monet in discus throw sensation in gold, and 4 other athletes in the 100 meters by 4 track sprint, also with a gold medal. Cameroon is currently ranked 3rd with 9 gold medals as of now in the games in Kinshasa. Let us listen to Nora Monet, who received a gold medal in her discipline.
I feel good. All I wanted to do was execute and have fun. I've had a serious face throughout the whole competition, but that kept me focused, so I'm happy with that. 57 is a good day for me. I wasn't even expecting it, so they brought a lot of energy. It was very encouraging, very thrilling to throw against them with the big crowd behind them especially, so it was really fun. Only God.
Meanwhile, the under-23 basketball Lionesses will be at play as from 4:45 p.m. today against Lebanon, counting for the semi-final phase of that section.
For the competition that took place in Rwanda,
in talking basketball, Cameroon's basketball Lionesses played their last game earlier today at the Afro Basket competition in Rwanda, Evans.
Despite being already eliminated from the competition, the girls of coach Ahmed Mbonjoya played Guinea-Bissau as part of the classification 5-8 position match in a 74 points to 37 encounter for the Cameroon side. The team now crashes out of the competition with the 5th position in their pockets. To that effect, our student intern on journalism, Ebanda Leon, examined their run so far with some Cameroonians and now compiled this in their Vox Pop.
For the competition that took place in Rwanda concerning basketball players of Cameroon, I think that they have been performing, but the matter is that in every competition we have to have a winner and a loser. So I think that even that they have given themselves enough, but the results cannot be always good.
Young girls were very performant. They had a very great performance, but as we can see, the competitive team were very hard and they were more experienced. So I think that the Cameroonian girls, they gave their best. So we can always say we are proud of them.
How the ladies tried to play, it's true. They left off the competition in quarterfinals. It's just due to some mistakes. They had a very good group. They had to prepare very well. But as for me, I think it is sports. And sports, we can't neglect any error. When we're in competition, you have to take care of each and every fact. So if they had to be eliminated, it's just that they didn't prepare well. And I think they can do more better due to what we have been seeing before they arrive the quarterfinal.
Before you go, Evans, you say football lovers in the Northwest are requesting a pitch of football in that part of the country.
After the brilliant performance of the Northwest representative at the National Interpols with 5 teams to represent them in the professional leagues next season have pushed their plea for a dying need of a modern football pitch. We got some of their supplications. Let us listen.
It's high time at least a stadium is constructed in the region. It's going to go a long way to improve on performance of our teams. We play on sandy pitches, muddy pitches, and yet we still manage against all odds to produce results. Football will be transformed if we had just a stadium in the region.
It's our right and we need a standard stadium, not only one.
Joining me in the studio is Claude Baokeng for a summary of this newscast in the French language. Bon après-midi, Claude.
Bon après-midi, MAPALAH ZITA. Un mutuel d'assistance et de solidarité, la caravane des tirages au sort de l'acte 3 se poursuit. L'agence Renapo Finance SA d'Onkoten a enregistré de nombreux bénéficiaires, Masso Gold et Masso Classique. Insécurité dans l'extrême nord, 8 pêcheurs ont été retrouvés décapités hier à Darak. 16 hommes ont été tués par les éléments de Boko Haram. Cet acte barbare s'ajoute à une série de morts enregistrées dans cette partie du territoire national. Actualité au-delà de nos frontières, la République du Niger célèbre son indépendance ce jour. La célébration de ce 63e anniversaire de l'indépendance arrive quelques jours après un coup d'État militaire. De nombreux Nigérians sont descendus dans les rues pour demander le départ des étrangers dans ce pays. En sport, Jeux de la francophonie à Kinshasa au Congo, la team Cameroun totalise 23 médailles à cette 9e édition, dont 3 en or. Afro-basket à Kigali au Rwanda, les Lions de la balle orange ont terminé 5e au classement après avoir été éliminés en quart de finale.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our package for you this afternoon. The news was technically assisted with copyright by Urish Nkemwe. Jean-Marie Otu took care of the cameras for our Facebook Live. The news was produced by Evans Williams Njobati. News editor Bertrand Owona. Script editing and editorial coaching Abel Bela Samari. Coordination our station manager Jean Patient Chala, and the general supervision from Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. For presentation, my name is MAPALAH ZITA. Thanking you for listening and wishing you an interesting afternoon with programs on Royal FM. Up next, you will be entertained to good music by Irish Kemwe, and then On refait l'actu will be right up.